In this video, I'm going to discuss about geosynclines. So geosynclines are long, narrow and shallow water bodies characterized by sedimentation and subsidence. So they are long as well as they are narrow water bodies. These water bodies, say this is a sea here, narrow sea. The rivers here, they bring water along with the water. They bring sediments and they sediment here. So they are narrow and shallow water bodies characterized by sedimentation and subsidence. So the sedimentary load is increasing, and as the sedimentary load increases, the sediments get subsided down. Geological history of globe says that there are two kinds of masses. One is rigid mass and geosyncline masses, and these rigid masses are ancient nuclei of the present continent and remain stable for longer time, and this is surrounded by mobile zones of water with extensive sedimentation. So like what we studied, like Pangaea is there. Pangaea is surrounded by Panthalassa water body. So this Pangaea is a rigid mass. The Panthalassa is like a water body. These geosynclines were converted to folded mountains due to compressive forces. So these sedimentations, as the sediment rises, both the compressive force, both the plates which compresses the land, and these sedimentation then forms folded mountains like this. These geosynclines were converted to folded mountains due to compressive forces. This concept was given by Hall and Dana and elaborated by Hogg. Characteristics: geosynclines are long, narrow and shallow depressions of water bodies. So they are long as well as narrow and shallow depressions of water bodies characterized by gradual sedimentation and subsidence. So sedimentation, it has to be very gradual process because the river bodies brings sediments along with them and gradually sediment them there and subsidence. So when the sedimentary load is increasing, the subsidence also takes place. So the sediment subsides down. As the subsidence increases, the compressive forces, if rises, then that later develops into folded mountains, and they are mobile zones of water. So these water bodies are mobile zones of water. The nature and pattern of geosynclines, such as location, shape, dimension and extent, have changed throughout the geological history due to geological processes, and they are bordered by two rigid masses which are called forelands. So here this is the geosyncline, but both the side forelands are there. Both the side which landmass is there, so that is called forelands. So this is forelands and this is the geosyncline. So here in this we can see that the river is bringing sediments, and they are sedimented, and they are slowly the level of sedimentation increases, and here the plates are moving in this direction, and it is compressing these sediments, and they are folding to form folded mountains. So this is how from the geosynclines the orogenic process, the mountain building process, takes place. Stages of geosynclines. The first phase is lithogenesis. This is the stage of creation of geosynclines, sedimentation, subsidence of the beds of geosynclines. So here sedimentation and subsidence takes place. The next process is orogenesis, the stage of squeezing and folding of geosynclinal sediments into mountain ranges. So first stage is just sedimentation and subsidence takes place. So next stage they are squeezed to form folded mountains, and glyptogenesis, the stage of gradual rise of mountains and their denudation. So these mountains are finally they are denuded and consequent lowering of height. So the erosional processes, they denude the height of the mountains, and the height of the mountains are lowered. So first concept is concept of Hall and Dana. After studying the folded mountains, they postulated this concept. The rocks of folded mountains were marine origin, and rocks were deposited in long and narrow shallow seas, named it as geosynclines. So the geosyncline name was first given by Hall and Dana. So they studied the folded rocks folded mountains, and they said that then these rocks were developed by marine origin, and rocks were deposited in long, narrow and shallow seas and named them as geosynclines. This sedimentation was continuous and this led to subsidence. So as the sedimentation took place continuously, and they led to subsidence because the sedimentary load, and but the depth of the water remained the same, and their width is narrow than the length. So the width is narrow, so the folded mountains width is narrow than the length. So they said that the geosynclines had a narrow width and the length was more. But the concept of hog says a different thing. Geosynclines are long and deep water bodies, whereas they said, Hall and Dana said that is a shallow water bodies, whereas here in this concept he says that it's a deep water bodies. And he postulated that the positions of the present day mountains were previously occupied by oceanic tracts. Geosynclines existed between rigid masses as mobile zones of water, and sedimentation was systematic. Lateral margins of the sea was affected by transgressional and regressional phases of the seas. At marginal areas, larger sediments were deposited and finer sediments were deposited at the central parts of the geosyncline. So this is a geosynclines. In this marginal area, larger sediments got deposited, but the finer sediments were taken to the central regions of the geosynclines. Due to compressive forces at the margins, the sediments squeezed and formed folded mountains, but in all the seas it will not happen. So this concept of hog, so Hogg postulated that so the sedimentation will take place in all the seas, but the squeezing and it is forming into folded mountains will not occur in all the seas, but only in few seas it can